Hello YouTube, this is Enchanted LifePath TV. Hello Periscope as well. Switch. Right, this is another report. This is a story about Anne Woods, if you can remember, community counsellor Anne Woods from a few days ago. She come over questioning me on Facebook. But this is Powys public inquiry, ? Lib Dem Anne Woods transgender makeup clue. Now, what Anne's done here by leaving a comment on this transgender person who's called Tamsin Eleanor Vince Lawler, who lives local to the Llangammarch Wells house fire. She commented, if I ever need to wear makeup and I can't actually think of a reason why that might need to happen, I will definitely ask you to give me tips. So Tamsin Eleanor Vince Lawler replied, it would be my pleasure, hun. Like, two of them liking it. So anyway, where does this lead to? I'm going to read on now. And is centre of, as I said, this, what should be a push for a public inquiry, given all the events and the failings of the councils and the child services departments in Powys, probably the most untrustworthy county in the UK. So here is, just to emphasise again, I'm going to start it off now. Voluntary Powys, Lib Dem's worker and Llangammarch Community Council Chair Anne Woods is caught up at the centre of a call for a child services public inquiry in the remote Welsh village of Llangammarch Wells, where a fire is reported to have killed a father and 6 of his children who had previously been in care. Here is Anne at a LGBT rally somewhere, London Pride. So, Llangammarch councillor Anne Woods was asked to make a statement and stepped down from her roles within 72 hours this week after provokingly approaching an independent journalist who was pushing for a public inquiry along with a petition for all Powys council staff to resign whilst conducting a civilian investigation into the incident. The link for this article is in the description below as well when this stream's done. Anne Woods, here is the post she comes on. This thing is called You See What You Want to See, so whatever you say I'll twist it. The details in the newspapers that you seem to think is evidence of a cover-up is evidence of journalists being very slapdash in fact-finding and nothing else. So she again blames the journalists, something which I'd say myself. It's been terrible, the reporting on it. A family have died, the police and fire services are investigating. I can't say any more because there isn't any more to say. I also work in mental health. Do you have any theories on that too? I would suggest you might want to reflect on what you're doing and why. Something lacking in your own life perhaps. That wasn't very diplomatic of yourself, was it, Anne? Anne Woods was then asked to resign from her influential roles instantly, as motions were already in place for a petition to be set up to call for all Powys council workers to resign, the child services included. Anne Woods, I would ask that you stand down from your political and influential roles immediately. All of this happens on your watch, not mine. People will not be happy to hear of such a small place with so many monsters in its closet. Rethink your positions and make a statement announcing your resignation from the Lib Dem's voluntary work you do and as Llangammarch Community Council Chair, please. The request was refused by Woods, who is also an Olympic Games volunteer, but clues she left on the Facebook account of a local transgender connected even more people in the search for the extremely tight-lipped mother of 5 of the children, Seema Khan. And that was this comment which we spoke about at the start, where she says, if I ever need to wear makeup and I can't actually think of a reason what that might be, why that might need to happen, sorry, I will definitely ask you to give me tips, said Anne Woods on Tamsin Eleanor Vince Lawler's Facebook account on September the 23rd. Tamsin Eleanor Vince Lawler replied, it would be my pleasure, hun. Doubts about the authenticity of the reporting of the parent's identity remain at large, but new information seems to suggest the children's real father and mother are both still living in nearby Wells. Seema Khan, will the real Llangammarch fire. Parents, please stand up. Just kidding. Excuse the pun. This raises serious questions as to why the children were reportedly placed in separate care homes whilst custody battle lasted for years between Seema Khan, 44, and David Cuthbertson, 68, which concluded in David winning custody of all children in 2016, with the real father of most of Seema's children, David Kidd, still living locally. On a Just Giving donations page set up after the alleged fire with over £23,000 raised, one of Seema Khan's daughters, Summer Kidd, can be seen thanking donators. Again, anything you see in red here does link through to the links, and that one made a liar of me nearly. So Summer Kidd is thanking people who can be seen giving donations here. Summer Kidd says on the 9th of November, it's got 7 likes. Thanks on behalf of myself and the other family members affected by this tragedy. We're very humbled by the fact so many people care. We read all of your messages and well wishes. When looking at Summer's birth records on ancestry.co.uk, it is clearly stated her mother's maiden name is Khan. When looking at Summer's Facebook friend list, she has 3 friends with the surname Kidd, notably David Kidd, who is her father, along with sisters Sheena and Forrest Kidd. Here is Summer Kidd's birth records. It shows her mother is Khan. Date of registration July 1996, Redbridge, Essex. Summer Phoenix Kidd. When looking at Forrest Kidd's Facebook profile, we see comments from no other than her dad, David Kidd, and her sister, Summer, which confirms they are all family members who are still in contact with each other. We also see David and his daughters joking about the looks they have taken from him, their biological father. David says here on the 7th of September, David Kidd posted, "I made you." Forrest Kidd says, "You also gave me this nose," in reply to David. David Kidd tags Forrest Kidd in the next comment, which was on Facebook, and says, "It's out there like it's out there on its own hunt like mine." Summer Kidd then joins the conversation the next day on September the 8th, 2017, and says, alright dad, with a emoji which is laughing. See, they all seem to be still in contact and all still quite happy in each other's company, it seems. This is further backed up by a post on Summer's profile where she can be seen asking if anybody knows a good local tattoo artist, when the 3 can be seen discussing this, and David shows natural fatherly instincts towards Summer's interest in a tattoo and jokingly questions why she needs to know this information. In reply, he ends with the words, "Dad," emphasised. This again puts serious doubts in the story of David Cuthbertson gaining custody of Seema Khan's children after a long battle with social services. With most of the family being alive and very close to the incident, the lack of emotion or general talk of the fire still remains very hard to see unless it is posted with the Just Giving donations campaign page. Here we see a profile which is again of interest, Angel Khan, who is linked to Forrest Kidd and Summer Kidd just by simple Facebook searches. The Kidd family then opens up more doors, which was confirmed by connections to community counsellor Anne Woods, brought about by one of her mutual friends of an account of interest named Angel Khan, who we've just seen at the top here. Again, all the images click through to the relevant sources. Angel Khan, who shares a common friend with Anne Woods. Here is Anne pictured being a volunteer at the 2014 Commonwealth Olympics in Glasgow. This clicks through to the blog which it's come from again, so there is another source there for you to click through to if anybody does visit the link, which I will leave in the description section below the video. That friend is Tasman Eleanor Vince Lawler. It is in the friends of Summer Kidd that we see Angel Khan. In Angel's friend list we see Tasman. It is then in Tasman's public photographs, which mainly consist of transgenders modelling poses in the small Welsh village, that we see something from Anne Woods praising Tamsin's makeup skills. And Wood says, if I ever need to wear makeup, I've already read that to you a couple of times. This was another clue that maybe Angel Khan is either another of Seema's kids, or it may even be Seema herself, as there is a few other accounts which are seemingly as unused as the one pictured above. It also connects all the people in the same area. You can see all these accounts in Summer Phoenix Kids Facebook friends list. This is the only Khan family linked to the whole of Llangammarch Wells and connected to those involved with the fire. Strangely, we still see no mention of David Cuthbertson on any of the profiles mentioned in this article. And another common theme is they only post the Just Giving link if they have made any acknowledgement of the fire at all. So here is some more Khan families. Again, this will click through for you to be able to see where I've got this from. Is this the real family of the alleged dead children? Will the real parents please stand up? Just kidding. So here is Forest Kids post, that particular post where she says, does anybody know of any good tattoo places? David Kidd says, this is on the 3rd of August. David Kidd says, why do you want to know this? Dad, just let me make that bigger if it'll go any bigger. I don't think it will because I've got it zoomed right in. Forest Kid replied, birthday soon. Zia Khan, who we're seeing here, Zia Khan, Angel Khan, Angel Khan, Angel Khan, Zia Khan, who is in Glasgow. Zia Khan's up in Glasgow. Zia Khan says, our physical graffiti in Cardiff rated second best after Miss Rise. Summer Kids joins the conversation then on August the 2nd, the next day, and says, what are you getting? The one where Kev got his leg piece in Hereford is pretty good. Forest Kid then says, which one's that? Don't even know he has a leg piece. I'll message you. So then the rest of the article reads as follows. Is this the real parents of them? Almost 6 weeks have passed and Seema Khan has not released any statements about the incident, as the fallout from the fire at the farmhouse on October the 30th, 2017 continues to heat up, with a petition being filed, calling for all Powys County Council and Child Services staff to stand down, as the reported 5 child deaths came just 2 weeks after a critical report by the CCSSIW resulted in them being given just 90 days to improve how they looked after children in the county. The people mentioned are all actively living in the area, but we still have no mention of the children or no word from the mother, not to mention the father of Seema's children, who are still living in the area, David Kidd. Was he also the biological father of the children of David Cuthbertson's reported? Of the children David Cuthbertson is reported to have won custody of after they were placed in care not long after Seema suffered a stroke. It is also worth noting, although mainstream news reported Seema as the wife of Mr Cuthbertson, there seems to be no records of any marriages taking place between Seema Khan and David Cuthbertson or Kidd. Does any of this seem straightforward? The simple answer is no, and this is why there must be a public inquiry into all aspects of the events in Llangammarch Wells on the night before Halloween. So here is some information from Anne's work, where she said Anne joined the team, Anne Woods, participation officer. Anne joined the team, this is to do with the mental health work, what she does. In May 2015, she is working on the Comic Relief Funded Participation Project. She is from London, okay. Stands up for emotional health and well-being, that was the project she was working on. And works 3 days a week, usually Monday, Tuesday and Friday, and is based in our Llandrindod, Wells office. You can now contact Anne by ringing Anne Estate's phone number or emailing Anne Estate's email anne.woods@pavo.org.uk. You can read about Anne's experience as a volunteer at the Commonwealth and Olympic Games here, and that's where this article clicks through to. Reflections on volunteering at the Commonwealth and Olympic Games, what can sport teach us about life? So here it says just a few little various things about Anne. It's a big blog which she has wrote. somebody comments here, this is great, I agree that both volunteering and sport play a big part in recognising important life skills. She replies, thanks Penny, I'm sure our volunteering paths will cross again, especially considering the number of events you volunteer at. I gain so much personally from these experiences. It just goes to show what great things human beings are capable of when they work together. So it says here, last summer I was a Clydesider in, yeah, I'll read a bit of this. Our latest guest post by Anne Woods. Anne Woods is a freelance writer, researcher and photographer living in Powys. Sport has been an important part of Anne's life pretty much since she could walk. She's represented her country in competitive gymnastics, taken part in equestrian events and played football for Brentford Women's Football Club. The highlight, winning a Premier Round match in the Women's FA Cup. She volunteers at several major sports events, including the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. She is currently playing for Hay Street Mary's Ladies Football Club, who train on Wednesday evenings on Hay on Wye. They welcome new players aged 16 and upwards. Find out more on their Facebook page via Twitter. The date on this is a little bit outdated, so I'm not sure how much of that holds the reason now still, and this is 2015 March. So sport, she says, last summer I was a Clydesider, one of the small army of 15,000 volunteers at the Commonwealth Games. Whilst in Glasgow, I was lucky enough to have immediate access to some of the top athletes in the world and to watch them training and attempting to perform to their best of their ability in competition. What struck me as I watched them is how much sport can teach us about ourselves and how we navigate through life, falling, picking ourselves up and trying again. Sport encapsulates the full range of human emotion, providing a controlled and safe environment for the expression of frustration, disappointment, even fear, emotions that sometimes we seek to keep at bay and avoid in life. It occurred to me how useful it is to have an outlet for both positive and negative emotions, where feelings can be expressed in the moment without festering or escalating. With good coaching, sport offers a structure for learning how to manage and challenge emotions positively, skills that we all find useful. I was in the hydro, a cauldron of expectation, excitement as up to 10,000 spectators cheered on their heroes in the rhythmic, artistic gymnastic competitions. At first hand, I witnessed the anxiety that each athlete experiences as I must learn to control, to perform well under pressure. As a former gymnast myself, I know how important it is to remain fully in control of aerobatic movements that have the potential for injury if not executed directly and correctly. Balance and awareness, remaining alert and making minute corrections second by second can be the difference between a gold medal and falling off the beam in agony. She says, I was also lucky enough to volunteer at the Olympics in 2012. I was a games maker at Greenwich Park for the equestrian events. I will never forget watching the breathtaking performance of British rider Charlotte Jardine and their horse Vallegro in the dressage, the dancing horses. At the very end of what had been an almost flawless routine, Vallegro lost composure and broke stride in an obvious error. I, along with thousands of others, gasped, and as we held our breath, it didn't matter, they won the gold with a score of over 90%. At the closing ceremony of the Commonwealth Games, Lord Smith Kelvin made a speech. Those words hit home. No matter who you are or where you are, sport has the power to make you feel part of something bigger. The voluntary committee tend to be caring, friendly and will go out of their way to help others. Spending time with people like that is a good way to restore your faith in humanity. Sometimes we all need to feel part of something bigger. I agree with Lord Simon, sport has that power. So that was Anne Woods, and again I will be posting the link in the description. This has been Enchanted LifePath TV. Speak soon.